Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today on the show, we've got a Lakers season preview, Nike's making big changes, the NFL refusing to let Stefon Diggs shine, the week's hottest release, and of course, we have our Hard Pass. All right, let's start with some hot takes. Let's just get this out of the way. As a lifelong Los Angeles Lakers fan, yes, all 21 years of my existence, which, if you're doing the math, means I was technically alive for the Shaq and Kobe three-peat, but barely old enough to master long division, I enter every season with the exact same hope that we, the 17-time NBA champions and one-time NBA Cup champions, because yes, Adam Silver's fever dream counts, will add more trophies, more banners, and maybe even another absurd cup to the rafters. Now, do I feel better about those chances some years compared to others? Absolutely. Every time Lakers exceptionalism starts coursing through my veins, my co-writer drags me back down to earth with those infamous worst starting five memes from the post-Kobe, post-LeBron years. You know, those lineups so depressing you'd think they were created by A24. I couldn't have done this show back then because every episode would have been me channeling Tom Dubois from the Boondocks, openly weeping outside Staples Center in my pajamas while a Bluetooth speaker blasted Usher's Burn. Those years were basically a hostage negotiation with the basketball gods. For as long as the show has been around, LeBron James has been a Laker. And yes, he brought us one NBA championship and that bizarre Vegas cosplay with the trophy cup. But for Lakers fans, that's like showing up to Coachella and saying, guys, don't worry, I brought a juice box. Technically, it's thoughtful, but woefully underwhelming. Had we gotten 2010 Miami LeBron, bare minimum expectation, a three-peat. Instead, we got LeBron 18 years past his best if used by date. Wade, Bosh, Melo, already in the Hall of Fame. Meanwhile, LeBron is still out here like your uncle who insists he can still crush a keg stand even though he's been taking a break from gluten. And look, he's tried to make up for it by breaking every longevity record imaginable. Most points, most minutes, most gray hairs in a pregame huddle. And while it's nice those records are in purple and gold, most Lakers fans still look at his tenure and go, yeah, but where are the rings? And this is the part where my producer is begging me not to jinx it. None of that matters anymore because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and Anthony Davis' perpetually fragile ankles, we have Luka Doncic. That's right, the Slovenian wonder kid who looks like he was built in the lab by Gatorade and nightclubs. LeBron can keep doing what he does, breaking records, keeping Bronny employed, waiting for Bryce, posting vague Rich Paul statements that Rob Pelinka ignores like a spam call. But the bus is now being driven by Luka. And unless you think bus driver is a weird Charles Barkley metaphor, let me assure you it is, but it's ours now. So thank you for your service, LeBron. Heal up that sciatica, enjoy the occasional TikTok cameo, and whenever you're ready to hop on a plane to Cleveland, Miami, co-writer will happily order you your Waymo to the airport. Oh, right, sorry. This was supposed to be a Lakers season preview. So here it is. By this time next year, we'll be the 18-time NBA champions and the two-time NBA Cup champions because we're the Lakers. What else did you guys really expect me to say? Exactly. Anyway, all right, pick of the week. Nike's Halloween collection is here, and hey, what do you know? They're actually dropping these before Halloween. Nike, they have not always been the best at releasing holiday-themed sneakers before said holiday, so to see all of these kicks drop before October 31st is actually quite reassuring. Of course, the cynical side of me thinks that at least some of these will be delayed until after Halloween, so let's not count on these arriving on time just yet. But to give them the benefit of the doubt, here we go. So we have the Nike Air Force One House Flies. This is going to be on the 21st for $130. We have the Nike Air Max 95 House Flies. This is going to be on the 21st as well. The Nike Book One Scorpion, that's going to be $155. The Nike Giannis Freak 7 Shape Shift. The Nike Jaw 3 Halloween, the Nike KD18 Slim Reaper, the Nike Zoom GT Hustle 3 Halloween, and the Nike A1 Candy Corn. And just a little shout out for Candy Corn. It's good. I don't care what you have to say. Now, the only thing that's releasing on the 22nd is the Nike A1. Everything else is releasing on the 21st. Moving on. So, Nike World Headquarters in Beaverton, Oregon. It has been renamed the Philip H. Knight Campus in honor of the founder and OG Shoe Dog. Feels like something that's long been overdue. I mean, for all the talk of sneaker culture wouldn't be where it is today without Michael Jordan, the sneaker business would not be where it is today if not for pioneers like Phil Knight and Bill Bowerman. Obviously, that's sugarcoating the past because if a deep dive into Nike's history would take up an entire year's worth of shows, but for a big picture standpoint, I'm just glad they didn't put it to a fan vote or else the place would have been named after Taiwanese Kid Ray, who's friends with Kai Cenat. Man, I do kind of feel old just for saying those last few words in a sentence. Every day that I check the socials and LeBron isn't on the TikTok with Ray is another day I can breathe easy. It's okay to be old now, LeBron. I'm just saying. Shout out to Nigel Sylvester. He received a Jordan care package and managed to record himself admiring the sneakers without acting like they were anything more than cool sneakers. Not that we're alluding to anybody who has made a habit of creating the cringiest possible videos because he wants to distract from his lack of commentary on literally anything else that's going on in the world, in particular his own DJ Khaled. Of course, I'm talking about DJ Khaled. Not that I really care to know what his stance is on literally anything, but my goodness, you would think the man would change the gimmick by now. No meeting has ever lasted that long, man. All I'm saying is, in a world of Khaleds, be a Nigel, or better yet, be a Matt Welty.
Purple drink, I'ma pull it up.
Spoken with the enthusiasm of a guy who's still in week 1 of recovering from a breakup. Okay, in a world of Khaleds and Welties, be a Nigel. To the curmudgeon-y folks at the NFL who insist that brands must pay for the privilege, and yes, let's call it what it is, a privilege on the same level as waiting in the line at the DMV to let us see the swoosh or the 3 stripes or that weird Under Armour logo that looks like a crab with scoliosis, can you please get over yourselves and let Stefon Diggs wear Asics cleats in actual games? Because here's the thing. Stefon Diggs already has a deal with Asics. He just released his second collab, the Gel DS Trainer 14, and it's sold out. Sold out. That means people want it. But when he steps on the NFL field, we don't get Asics. No, we get Nike, which is like being promised Beyonce tickets, but instead being handed a coupon for Olive Garden. Sure, it's technically an experience, and I'm a big fan of the unlimited breadsticks and salad, but it's not the one anyone signed up for. And yes, this isn't new. We saw it when Marcus Jordan was forced to wear Adidas in college. Adidas on a Jordan. That's like seeing a McDonald's Happy Meal toy of Ronald McDonald, but he's holding a Whopper. It just feels wrong. Of course, Marcus had a little bit of leverage considering, dad invented modern basketball shoes. Stefon, on the other hand, is mostly in the headlines these days for being a professional wide receiver and allegedly part-time baby daddy. Again, allegedly, which, let's be honest, might actually get you more retweets, but that's not the point. The point is, why can't the NFL let players wear the brands they actually represent? Because of some archaic, backwards-ass rule that makes it illegal for us to see Josh Allen in New Balances or Stefon Diggs in Asics? Really? Do you need Nike and Adidas money that badly? Because, spoiler alert, you already have plenty. You've taken Christmas away from the NBA. You've forced us into a 17-game season. You've pushed the Super Bowl so far into February, it's now competing with Valentine's Day dinner reservations. And you somehow made hockey mad. An entire sport where being mad is literally the default setting. And then, just when I was ready to write you off entirely, you made Bad Bunny the Super Bowl halftime headliner, which is amazing. But if you so much as hint at making him swap out his Adidas Sambas for some soulless logo-approved compromise, I will unleash my co-writer to do an entire episode on why Niner Gang is basically just a support group for people addicted to Kyle Shanahan disappointment. Because, let's be honest, Shanahan is the human embodiment of almost. He's an above-average coach with a PhD in getting to the brink of greatness and then forgetting how clocks and timeouts work. And the Trey Lance debacle? Don't get me started. They mortgaged the future, traded away picks that could have landed Jalen Waddle, Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons, and for what? For Shanahan to play QB whisperer only to ghost Lance like a bad Tinder date the second Brock Purdy shows up? Cold-blooded. Accurate, but cold-blooded. And just imagine, for a second, a Niners roster where Purdy is tossing dimes to Jalen or Devontae or Micah Parsons is blowing up quarterbacks on the other side. That's not football. That's Madden on rookie mode. Wait, sorry. Stefon Diggs, his cleats. This is how far you've pushed me, NFL. You've taken me from a simple point, let the man wear Asics, into a spiraling rant about Kyle Shanahan, trade override powers, and whether or not Bad Bunny should ever, under any circumstances, be forced to sing in English. He shouldn't, and don't you guys even think about it. So here's the takeaway. NFL, get over yourselves. Let Stefon Diggs wear Asics cleats. Let Josh Allen rock New Balances. Give my co-writer veto power the next time Shanahan has a hunch. And for the love of God, do not touch Bad Bunny's sneakers. Because if you do, I swear, I'll be outside Levi's Stadium in pajamas blasting Usher's Burn. Only this time, it'll be for you. Before we get to the hard pass, I just want to give a quick shout out to our tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Yeah, Roman took the L in Australia against the tribal chief and friend of the program, Big Bronson Reed, but yo, Roman low-key may have had the line of the year in the post-match segment with the Usos. After all three cousins were in the ring having a heated discussion over the losing effort, Reigns broke out with maybe the most relatable thing I've ever heard anybody say when they're not mad at a family member, just disappointed. Playing off the perception that he hasn't been the same dominant superstar who held the WWE Championship for over 1,000 days since he lost said titles, and that the only reason he can win these days is with the help from his family, he told his cousins that while he loved them, he didn't want to see neither of them until Christmas. I mean, I've been there. Co-writer's been there. We've all had family who've gotten on our nerves because they either acted like a fool or said some foul stuff that you just can't let slide so easily. But it doesn't mean you hate them and never want to see them again. You just need to be away from each other. And when a few months have passed and you've forgotten why you were mad at each other in the first place, then it's all good again. Of course, this is pro wrestling, and in light of Seth Rollins' injury, which may or may not be legit, Triple H might have to forego any long-term story he might have had with Roman and the Usos and turn one, if not all of them heel, once again to shake up the main event scene. Ah, well, for the briefest of moments, wrestling went from popcorn entertainment to the realest ever. It's time for this week's Hard Pass. We take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go, like believing women's basketball is going away. Notice we didn't say W. Before we get to it, let's congratulate once again to the big-time Las Vegas Aces for winning the WNBA Finals in convincing fashion, sweeping the Phoenix Mercury in 4 games. The first time the W Finals has ever been a best of 7. Not surprisingly, A'ja Wilson took home her second Finals MVP to go along with her 3 rings. Not that she wasn't already considered one of the best to ever do it, but that resume is just adding more and more bullet points that it's going to be hard to deny if she keeps up this pace for the next few years. And the timing couldn't be more perfect with the debuting Nike signature shoe line that is doing really well at retail. Everything is just lining up for A'ja, and you love to see it. And you know what else you love to see? The WNBA breaking viewership records. Everybody who's been watching this show long enough knows that we hate talking about TV ratings or box office numbers or sales figures. It's about as interesting as reseller drama or beef between sneaker media outlets and personalities. In other words, we don't care. We care about the product and if it's good or not. If it's something like last week's show when we talked about Demon Slayer's eye-popping box office receipts, then that's our chance to get on Hollywood about not colonizing anime. In the context of the W, it's worth talking about because of the broader conversation about the league and how it needs certain people to survive. And no, I'm not talking about Caitlin Clark. I'm talking about the people who pretend to care about Caitlin Clark. They love to tell you that without their support and viewership of Caitlin and only Caitlin, the W would go out of business tomorrow. They jumped on board in 2024 when they saw that Caitlyn was a cudgel they could use to get their culture bullshit takes off and in their mental gymnastics that count as bringing eyeballs to the league. Never mind that they probably don't even watch the games that Caitlyn actually participates in. Nah, they just watch the highlights, see if there was a hard foul, which, surprise, hard fouls happen in women's basketball, and post TikToks of themselves being offended like someone Christy gnomed their dog. Sadly, the algorithm rewards this kind of crap content, so it encourages not only the rage baiters, but copycat rage baiters who thinks this is their ticket to becoming the next Kai Cenat or Ray Asian Boy, or that's about the extent of my knowledge of streamers, co-writer. I'm not LeBron. Anyways, if you were to believe these clowns, Caitlin Clark's unlucky string of injuries was going to be a reckoning for the W. Last year's playoffs, which had Caitlin for 2 games in the first round, saw a 155% increase in viewership compared to 2023. In those 2 games that Caitlin played in, they drew the highest ratings of a non-finals game in the W's history. Impressive, no doubt, but the 2024 finals also brought in record numbers. It's not like Clark's games were the only thing people watched. If you believe the garbage these haters were spewing, you would think 20 million people watched Clark's playoffs games and tuned out once she was eliminated. In reality, a lot of people watched Caitlyn, saw that the product was fun to watch even when she wasn't playing, and stuck around to watch the rest of the playoffs. Would the numbers have been even better if Caitlyn were playing? Absolutely. But the rest of the league, which was already growing in viewership prior to Clark's arrival, did their part as well. If the WNBA was a game of Super Mario Brothers, Caitlyn was like adding a star to a Mario that already had the power-up that would let them fly. Co-writer, I'm just going to stop and tell you that there is no way we're going to go over the minutia of what the best flying power-up is in the Mario series. We don't have time for that. Besides, everybody knows it's the cape in Super Mario World, and if you think otherwise, you're probably just wrong. All right, back to the W. The 2025 playoffs did not have Caitlyn Clark, but her team, the Indiana Fever, made it to the semifinals. In a deciding Game 5 between the Aces and the Fever, the ratings from that contest was one of the most watched non-finals game in history. The finals themselves saw a slight increase from the previous year, but it probably would have been even better if it was a more competitive affair. In short, even without Caitlyn, the numbers still went up. Slower than the previous year, but up nonetheless. But Jacques, I was told by real Clark fans on social media that if she wasn't around, no one was gonna watch. Turns out, Clark's presence helped the Fever become one of the league's most popular teams to the point that even when she's not around, they still watch, especially if they're making a deep playoff push. Funny how that works. It's as if everybody without an agenda understands Caitlyn's impact, but doesn't feel the need to bend the knee because of it. And now that we've got the ratings conversation out of the way, let's talk about the thing that could derail all of the W's hard work to grow pre and post Caitlyn. If you heard Nafisha Collier's epic diss track about WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, then you know that the players are not happy. Despite record ratings, the W's infrastructure, from officiating to facilitating to stuff that male athletes typically don't have to worry about, is woefully behind the times. And now all of this is coming to a head as there is a very real possibility of a work stoppage next year if the players' reasonable demands are not met. Hey, WNBA leadership, which also includes NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, if you're determined to blow up all the goodwill you've accumulated over the past few years that the players work so hard to earn from the people, go right ahead. While we disagree with damn near everything the W's detractors have been spewing even before Caitlyn showed up, the one thing I bet you we can all agree on is that if the W went away for a full year and was replaced by the Unrivaled League that's co-owned by Collier, fans would simply watch that. It'll take a lot of work and support from the fandom, but there's no reason to believe it couldn't produce numbers that would make a network happy. And even wilder, if Caitlyn were to sign with Unrivaled or started a barnstorming league that featured her and Sophie Cunningham on one side and Angel Reese and Dejanay Carrington on the other, a streamer could put that shit on pay-per-view and get UFC numbers or better. The reality is, women's basketball is here, and it's here to stay with or without Caitlyn. Get over it. But what the W needs to realize sooner than later is that people will get over them faster than they'll get over watching women's basketball. And that's our hard pass. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week, but not before we leave you with a viewer hard pass.
Yo, Jacques, what's good? Long time no speak. It's your favorite hard passer, Leon Morgan. This isn't a hard pass. I was just watching the show. I don't know if I ever told you, but I'm also a writer, and you just gave me an idea about writing a buddy cop movie about a sneaker heist. If you don't want that movie to happen, I demand a pair of Pegasus premiums in a size 14. No funny stuff. Nah, I'm messing with you. Be safe, be well, keep doing what you're doing. I watch your show every week with my daughter. Future sneakerhead in the making. Be safe.
If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you soon. Peace.